Nothing the governor asks for will be approved unless there is affordable and adequate coverage for those with pre-existing conditions. President Trump tweeted last night he will not sign legislation unless it protects those with pre-existing conditions.
There you've got Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana promising people with pre-existing conditions they will be covered under his new health care plan that could be up for a vote by the end of next week. Here to discuss, we've got Fox News contributor and writer for The Resurgent, Erick Erickson, joining us today from Georgia. Eric, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, what's your main concern about the Graham-Cassidy bill?
My big concern is that if they don't allow the states to opt into regulation instead of opting out, then the next Democratic president could basically put states back under Obamacare through regulation. I think they may do that, though, and this is a step in the right direction. I think Lindsey Graham is right. This is a step away from universal socialized health care. It's
less socialism, more federalism, where the states are actually going to have the opportunity to experiment at the local level. But when it comes to pre-existing conditions, nobody knows more about that than you do, because until I read something you just wrote for The Resurgent, I didn't realize that both your wife and you have them both.
Right. My wife has a form of cancer. There's no cure for it. She's on a medicine that if we were actually on Obamacare instead of private insurance, we couldn't afford it, and that's the only thing that keeps her cancer at bay. I actually, as I'm talking to you right now, have a pulmonary embolism, and luckily I'm not in the hospital this week, but I'm on blood thinners at home. So, yeah, I've got these conditions. Now, I actually have had insurance before the conditions. I think the pre-existing condition provision isn't a conservative policy, but it's one we're not going to get rid of, and people who are saying that, oh, they're going to get rid of pre-existing conditions, they don't understand politicians want to get reelected, and they would all lose if they got rid of that.
Meanwhile, there's one other story. A number of people on the political left are upset that Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price has been traveling around the country on chartered jets, government jets, suggesting, you know, we really can't afford that, and carbon footprint and all that other stuff.
Well, have they forgotten James Hodgkinson? I mean, it wasn't that long ago that a left-wing Democrat, fueled by Democratic rhetoric on Obamacare, tried to mass assassinate Republicans in Congress. This is the man, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, who would oversee repeal of Obamacare. Imagine the death threats he's getting right now. I mean, I remember the genteel days of George Bush when protesters showed up at Karl Rove's house. And now they're going out there and they're throwing rocks at cops and shooting Republicans.
Sure. Absolutely. And to take a look at some of the headlines the Washington Post put up, the Trump administration's private plane problem, CNN had Tom Price's private jet problem, and The Guardian had the White House's private jet problem. Politico, it goes on and on.
Well, listen, if something bad happened to Tom Price, a lot of the reporters writing these headlines would probably be smiling because they don't like him. They're liberals. And, you know, Tom Price needs to be protected. The left wants him dead, frankly, because we're trying to repeal Obamacare.
Okay. Erick Erickson joining us today from Georgia. Sir, thank you very much. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
All right.